You know what I can tell you about this game?
What can you tell me about this game, sir?
It loves to load.
Ooh.
Like,
well, you know, who doesn't like a good loading screen in 2019?
I'm gonna guess most adults.
I blogged about that a while ago. I was like, you know what sucks? Loading times. Like, you'd think here in the future there'd be no loading times,
yeah.
But in fact it's quite the opposite, because games have to load like more shit, you know, more visuals and just more of everything, so games actually could take longer to load.
The thing that I think with this game, it's on the Switch and it just wasn't optimized well.
Yeah, it is also on PS4, Xbox One, and I don't think it's on Steam as of now, but it's going to be very soon. Yeah, it just simply says a Steam version will be releasing soon. They did not give a date.
This... Now, I'm not confused. Now, you probably don't know this offhand, but this was... We got emails about this a while ago when I requested a copy of it, and I thought it was supposed to come out like for Christmas or something, and then we never heard anything. I thought. I mean, I could be entirely mistaken, and then it's just recently come out. Like, this was under embargo until...
Yeah, we got a little bit early. I'm looking back, and it looks like they first announced... Well, let's see here. I got an email, the very first email, it seems, I got right around the middle of December. And that email was, hey, this game is coming out in, towards the end of February here. So that was the first time I heard about it, was the end of December. So then, a couple months later, here we are with launch already.
Yeah, I thought that I had heard about it. I clearly might be thinking of something else.
Yeah, it might be another anime, colorful anime hack and slash style game.
Possible.
There's so many of them.
So right there is one of my big complaints about the game. Those scrolls that like mini boss that I just beat and picked up, kind of are either spells, or like it would either be a spell randomly, or it would be like a hit point increase or decrease, and the other option is that it could be it could be a spell or a hit point or magic point increase or decrease.
Mm-hmm.
And the spells range from like what I have now, which is completely fucking worthless, to like completely overpowered. Like,
yeah, so if this is a roguelike, then you just, when you die, you just kind of start all over again?
So if I made it to chapter 2, I would start at the beginning of chapter 2.
Oh, okay.
And one of the cool things that they do is that you keep whatever weapon you have. So, and you keep the upgrades that you've managed to.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there's some permanent upgrades that you can carry over.
None of these upgrades, as you can see, I have like pretty much all of them. None of these upgrades are fantastic.
Oh, so they don't drastically change the game, huh? You don't see a noticeable improvement?
The spells are fine, are good. Like, some of the spells are decent, but then you unlock like some of the spells that it's like, oh, this slows down the enemies in your area, and it's like, yeah, but then there's a spell that stops the enemies. It's like there's a spell that slows them down, and then there's a spell that just straight out stops them.
Yeah.
And you get them at like the same time, and they cost the same amount of magic to upgrade, and they last for the same amount of time. They cost the same amount of magic to like cast. So it's like, okay, one of those is vastly better than the other one. Stopping enemies is a better thing than just
slowing them. Yeah.
Down. So,
and it's like, yeah, is it like a similar amount of experience points to get each one?
Yeah,
or is it just
for them? It's the exact same amount. So it's, one of the, it's not the same thing. It's like one of these is just better than the other.
By a lot.
Yeah, it's one of these, I straight up stop the enemy, and the other one, they just slow down. And it's like, they're, yes, they are comparable to each other. Like, they are, like, kind of, status-altering things that impede movement of enemies. But why does, like...
Why do one when you can do...
Like, one upgrades into the other one. Is like what the streamlined approach would have been. And I don't know, it's just like it has like weird stuff like that. Like the like there's a spell there's a couple spells that are like, okay, this spell is like it's a fire spell, so you cast fire all around you in a circle. But then it's the same exact spell as the lightning, like it's the same spell. It's as the lightning spell. It does pretty much the same damage. They look different, but like when they are upgraded, they do the same amount of damage. They're the same amount of range. Like there's not really anything that like would like show either one of them apart. Just one of them is like lightning based and one of them's fire based. I don't really think the enemies have like kind of weaknesses.
Yeah, to certain elements.
Not that I can notice.
Yeah. There's no, bestiary where you can look up the enemies and then.
I think there is, but it's like
you got to dig deep to find it.
Well, it's not. Nothing has been really worth going into, because most of the time it's just like hit it with your fucking sword.
Yeah, and that's good enough, right? So,
but there's no leveling up either. Like,
so that's always my. A couple things is one. I feel like every game, especially indie games now, they're all roguelikes. Like before, like the big thing like a couple years ago was like, I'm gonna make my own Mario style platformer or Super Meat Boy clone style platformer, hard platformer, or now everybody's just making roguelikes. Like it seems like it's it's coming back around the trendy thing to do.
Well,
there's so many roguelikes.
A big one now is Metroidvania.
And then you get some so those are like the three platformers.
So
I just feel like now
roguelike Metroidvania,
and get all of them in one. Yeah. I mean, roguelikes are kind of hit and miss. I kind of find them to be annoying. They're not necessarily my cup of tea, so to speak, I guess. But
my thing with roguelikes is that there's good roguelikes, and then there's every other roguelike. And very, very rarely do you have a forgettable, let's say, roguelike.
So there's definitely some that are better than others. Like one game recently that I really enjoyed that nobody played, and I reviewed it on MyGamer, our site, is called Monospark, actually on Switch here as well. It was game's only like a few bucks, so it's very inexpensive.
Was that the one that like you build your?
You can. There's some very light town building.
Yeah,
but
I was actually thinking about buying that.
When you first play it, there's kind of a learning curve. Like you don't understand really what's going on.
But you have to build a shop and stuff too, don't you?
Yeah, it's you basically just like wake up in a forest, and then you got to kind of.
How is that?
I thought it was great. Like when I first played it, I was like, I don't understand anything. I don't get this. But then I kept playing it, and I was like, oh, it makes sense now.
So
and it's always challenging, but they give you just enough of a drip feed of permanent unlocks as well as unlocks just for that life until you die again.
Yeah.
Just enough to keep you entertained, and when you kind of make a mistake, you're like, yeah, you know what, you shouldn't have run into that room so fast.
Or
when there's
like,
2 or 3 guys.
I made so much progress, I've been waiting to die for long enough. enough at this point.
Yeah, so
I can't believe I made it as like that's something that normally would happen to me in a lot of roguelikes that I used to play. It's like I just feel like, I've been waiting for death for like minutes, and I'm honestly surprised.
Yeah.
But like something I said in my review is, a lot of the time when you play roguelikes, there's it sort of falls into two categories, and it's like, it's either the completely extreme end of it, like Sheeran games, for example. Like true mysterious dungeon games that you can screw up so badly that you're basically going back to square one, that you've lost everything. Like, they will put stuff in there that will, like, make, like, quality of life improvements and stuff, and, like, your companions and stuff will get stronger and more useful. But, like, if you screw up enough, good luck getting to your companions, and you can lose so much money that you can't even hire them again. Like Sheeran games, it's like, Sheeran games are punishing, and like you have to be careful when you're playing them most of the time. Not all of them. Some of them, like they come in different flavors, most certainly. And then there's like I think one of the ones I brought up was like Azuna. And like the Unemployed Ninja.
Yeah, that game's hard as shit.
Technically, it's one of the easier roguelikes, though. Because
oh man, yeah, because I played that for a little bit, and I was like, I was just getting destroyed.
Well, one of the reasons that's one of the easier ones is that you never lose your level in that game. You always maintain a constant level. So even if, say, you've lost every single, like, and right there, maximum magic points. So, like, you literally hit a point in this game that you're just like, I guess I'm just not gonna pick up those scrolls anymore. Like, if I'm just gonna start losing magic points if I pick them up, it's literally not worth it.
I think there's a fine line to walk, because roguelikes are obviously games designed to kill you,
Yes, but like Azuna, you can literally keep bashing your head against the wall long enough that you can walk into a dungeon with no items, with her basically being, for all intents and purposes, let's say naked, and just punch your way through. And you're supposed to be like hand upgrading all of these items and putting charms on them and stuff. And if you bash your face against the wall enough times, you will the game will actually be like, you know what, you're level 99. You can like just literally go up to the end boss and just destroy him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan of action RPGs. I mean, who isn't, right? Like, you got Secret of Mana, you got Diablo, and like just from all these things that we said, like there's balancing issues, and I feel like you gotta grind, but even if you grind in roguelikes, it probably won't matter because you're gonna die and then you gotta start all over again, and that's like I understand, I get it, I guess. Like, it's just not for me. I get kind of just frustrated with the whole thing.
You're not
starting
wrong.
over.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah. You got to have. It's kind of an acquired taste, But if you like going back to my Monospark example, it gives you just enough permanent upgrades where if you're having a hard time, if you do grind for a little bit, you can eventually make it because you can unlock, better abilities to make you stronger, regardless if you die.
And that's a lot of what, like, the later Sheeran games did, for example, is that, like, they introduced companions, and your companion level was persistent. And they're, like, so they would get continually stronger. And so, like, whereas the AI in Sheeran has never been fantastic, and sometimes they would literally just sit there and, like, the enemies would just slap them to death, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, at least you could kind of just have them be baited that the monster would come and punch, you know, like attack them first if you knew how to move correctly, if you'd played the games long enough. And like, you know, after a while you could just use them as like, you know, say damage sponges and have them kill the enemies for a while until you've leveled up enough and gotten enough items back that, you know, you're ready to go back into the wide world again. Especially in the later Sheeran games, they started doing stuff like that, so it was never... you had to screw up really badly in the later Sheeran games to, like, lose everything. Like, I mean, you could.
Yeah, we streamed a couple of the Sheeran games,
I'm
you know,
positive.
or even like all, because there was one on Wii, there was like a one on the Vita.
The one on the Vita is actually my favorite, the Dice of Fate. That's a really fucking good game.
Was that cross? Was that also on PS? That was just on Vita, yeah.
It was just on Vita.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic game.
Yeah, I got a Vita now, and that's one of those games where we got it for, you know, we got a review code so long ago. It's one of those games where I want to try to like find a copy of it.
Fucking review code?
I thought we did.
No, I bought that game.
Oh, is that where we got? Because I know we reviewed it, didn't we?
Probably. That might have been one of the ones that I just reviewed.
Oh, okay.
Or you could have been one of those times that you just gave it to someone else.
You're
a jerk. You know, kind of like...
I would have given you, you know...
Oh, really? Kind of like how you did with Code of Princess on the Switch? Not that I'm completely bitter about that.
Well,
that was my fucking game of the year that year.
Speaking of Code of Princess, because this is... So, RemiLore here, this is a Nicholas game, and Code of Princess... Nicholas also brought that over to Switch. So they've been, you know, kind of releasing these...
Yeah, not that Code of Princess was my fucking game of the year that year. And that wasn't like an HD remaster or anything like that. No, I didn't really fucking love Code of Princess.
I wanted to check it out.
Yeah, you're an asshole and I hate you.
Well, I gave you RemiLore here on the Switch, so...
And this game, it's fine. The problem is that I really like roguelikes, and this is kind of... I probably played way more roguelikes than most people.
Yeah.
And this is middling.
Yeah, I mean...
It's not offensive. It's not bad.
It's colorful, it's cheery, it's got some charms to it. I like the action RPG, like you're fighting in real time, like... Because there's other roguelikes, when you move, the enemy moves. I guess that's like your true... That's a traditional exactly. So I'm more of the, you know, action RPG style. That's my preference.
Well, you have to remember, like, most of that stuff is based off of what Sheeran did beforehand.
No, yeah.
Because Sheeran's been around since the Super Nintendo. And a lot of that stuff, especially in Japan, is based off of, like, how that one game functioned. Because it, I believe, was, like, exceptionally popular at the time. And it didn't get it, oddly enough, didn't get a sequel for freaking ever.
Well, the Super Nintendo, that was only in Japan, I thought, right? And then we didn't get, like, the first true release Sheeran until...
the DS, they redid it.
There was the... Yes, you're right. Yeah, there was a DS version, and then there was in the Wii version. I think those were the first two to make it over.
The Wii version was actually Sheeran 3, which was also... So, yeah, let's talk about Sheeran. And, well, we're playing roguelikes, so I guess I can nerd out a little bit. Sheeran 3 was also released on the Vita, but it was not released on the Vita in America.
Oh, okay.
Or not Vita, I'm sorry. That's not correct. The PSP.
Oh, PSP. We're going back. Okay.
Because
that was even before.
The Vita was not out. That was just straight up PSP at that point. And there is a fan sub, so if you really like it, you can legitimately buy a copy of the PSP version in Japan, and then there are methods that you can use to play it.
Oh, okay.
Of course, legitimately buy.
Sure.
It's been basically translated.
Another, more traditional roguelike where you move and then the enemy moves is an indie game called Quest of Dungeons. I don't know if you played Quest of Dungeons, but that came out in 2016.
That was like a free game on like every.
Yeah, I think it might have been like it is available on every system now. Switch, PS4, Xbox. It's Steam. It's everywhere. But I really liked Quest of Dungeons, and I don't really like traditional roguelikes, and I got a kick out of it. I enjoyed it, so I think that kind of says something. So check out Quest of Dungeons as another traditional roguelike if anybody's watching interested in that.
Yeah. What this kind of reminded me of, just in sort of quality wise, was actually quality wise for like sort of roguelike. It wasn't completely a roguelike, but it definitely had like a roguelike dungeon. Was Trillion. That was like this really small, quick Nippon Ichi game that they sort of released.
Yeah, I heard of it. I never played it.
It was that was like the definition of meh.
Okay.
It had roguelike elements. I actually think that this game does the roguelike better than that game did. This sort of reminded me a lot of Sorcery Saga on the Vita. That's a more traditional roguelike that came out a while ago. I like that one better, but that was like a really super traditional roguelike. That one also wasn't very hard. I think the main failing that I had with this one is it can't decide if it wants to be a difficult game or if it wants to be... I think there's a lot of balance issues in this.
Mm-hmm.
And that it just... like, it felt like, I don't know, like, maybe someone on the team hadn't developed a roguelike before. Like, the team might have really liked roguelikes, but they hadn't really developed one before or something. I don't know. It's just off enough that it's noticeable.
Okay.
It's odd. Mm-hmm. Like if you put, I think the analogy I use to a friend is if you put your left shoe on your right foot and you like get to your car to start it up and you're like, what's wrong with my shoes? And you look down and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's still walkable.
Yeah, it's like, but you feel like something's off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, you just like eventually find out, like, you're just like, something's off. And it's like, yeah, the balance is just off a little bit. And it's like, oh yeah, that's kind of what it is, isn't it?
There's a co-op feature in this too, right?
Yeah, I don't know
how
that
multiplayer?
I mean, I don't have friends to test it.
Yeah. I think it's 2-player, 3-player. Let me see. I'm not sure if it says in the release, but it just says hack and slash game. 200 different fun and fantastic weapons, HD visuals, 4 distinct regions. We're only allowed to stream like the first
until
act.
It came out.
Yeah. Oh, and co-op mode only. Yeah, so there's a co-op mode.
Yeah, I maybe you would take the place of lore. I don't know how that would work. The lore is the book. Like, if you were able to take the place of lore, that would be, like, super dumb overpowered. Okay, so I officially think at this point that I have every power-up purchasable.
Yeah.
And so here's something that I've noticed. I have 2 weapons, and it says, oh, okay, there's like four different stage types. I've been to all 4 different stage types, and I've only unlocked 2 types of weapons. And you beat them after you defeat a boss.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't know what the hell's going on.
And you're getting good ranks. I mean, you seem like you're kind of smoking everything.
And you, like, when you beat a boss, it literally says, like, oh, okay, you've unlocked this. And it's like, okay. And there's, like, you get, like, spells and stuff when you beat certain bosses. And if it's all 4 stages, I've been through all 4 of those stages.
And you only got a couple of weapons, couple of swords?
I only have the swords, and I only have the hammers. So, what the actual hell is going on?
There's gotta be. Well, there's supposed. This thing right here says it.
It's straight up. There's like there's fist weapons, there's 2-handed swords.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other ones that it basically straight up shows you there. But I haven't unlocked them, so I'm just like, what is actually going on right now?
It says there's over 200 different fun and fantastic weapons in this release.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think that I have most of the one-handed swords unlocked. I can't verify that.
Or can your character only use swords versus guns and spears or something?
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that fire spear, or circle, whatever, that I just cast.
Yeah.
If that was the lightning one, it would look slightly different, but the circle is the same size, and it does the same amount of damage. And it, like, kind of sucks because everything still takes, like, a little while to fucking die after you... Like, the robots still occasionally take a little while to die after you've cast it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it's fully leveled up, so it's enough to kill them. But, yeah, just sometimes...
Yeah, so you beat the hell out of that in 16 quick seconds.
Yeah. Well, the funniest thing is, like, using that, you actually, like, when I use that spell, if I use it to clear a room, I actually won't get an S rank because I don't have enough combo rating.
I was just gonna say you got a C combo there. I saw.
Yeah, because it doesn't count. It doesn't count as my combo.
Yeah, if you one hit kill everything, you're not gonna be getting combos.
Yeah.
Which it could be another balancing issue, I guess. If you become a little overpowered, if you got yourself a nice gun, strong spells, you're not gonna get S ranks in combo.
Yeah. I mean, in theory, you'd be like, oh, okay, well, you're leveled up, you're just doing, like, the level grind again, from the first level all the way through, just do, like, the fire spell, like I'm doing right now, and go through and nuke everything, even if you don't have the best weapon on you, and it's like, yeah, that's great. You don't control what spells you get, so you could just get the slowdown spell, and, like, you're worthless against these guys. And then, like, the better weapons just don't fucking drop for, like, a really fucking long time. And, like, I don't even want to pick up that scroll because I don't know if it's going to be a hit point up or if it's going to be a shitty fucking, if it's going to be, like, a shitty fucking spell that's going to replace my good spell.
Because you can only hold how many spells?
One spell.
Oh, so you want to milk this pentagon, what is that? Fire.
It's just a fire spell, yeah.
Yeah, this fire spell thing, yeah, because that seems to holy shit. One hit, you just took everybody out.
Yeah, it clears the entire room.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say, yeah, you're going to want to hold on to that spell. It seems to be working pretty well. So that's the other thing, like, with the balancing, is you can find a gun, a weapon, a spell that works well, and then never change it, never experiment with anything else, because this one's working good enough.
Well, and that's the other thing, is it's like, you also get into this habit that it's like, well, this spell, like, it is literally just destroying everything. Why would I want to try?
Yeah, Yeah, I'm already doing a good enough job with this. Yeah, that's the other. Yeah, that's almost like with a lot of RPGs. You pick up something. And, oh, here we got a boss. I can just hear the button mashing. There you go, holding it down with a nice stun attack. The dash attack seems to be a nice, or the dash move seems to be a nice touch.
Yeah, but you can only like use it so often.
You gotta let it
Like
rejuice.
recharge, yeah.
Yeah. Get him, he's down.
Yeah, I'm also looking for like a hit point thing, which there is none of.
So we
Yeah,
gotta,
see. And then it sends you back to level 1.
Go, okay.
And the funny thing is, like, so the spell I had is worthless on bosses, but you go into rooms, like I'm about to do right here, and you just fucking clear them.
So you were on Act 1-4.
Yes.
Now you gotta go, but if you would have cleared Act 1-4, you would have started on Act 2 then if you died?
2-1, yes.
So there's 4 acts, or 4...
In every one of them, yeah.
Yeah. But you don't have your spell?
I do. I still have the fire spell. So,
You still have the spell, okay.
So as long as I suspend when I leave, I will keep my sword. And my sword, I guess, needs my spell for some reason. I don't.
I don't know, yeah. Yeah. Can you rotate the camera, or is it always
Nope,
this...
It's always this, like, weird...
3/4 from the one angle? That was a nice placement of that spell there. Got them all with the one.
Yeah. Jesus. Like that, this is a lot of it. It's like, okay, now I get to backtrack through this stuff, but I have the right spells, so all of this is just.
Yeah, it's a kit. You can smoke these guys and just walk right through. Is the levels? Do the levels change, or they say
Yes,
the same
they're
exact?
roguelike, so they're
So
just
it change.
generated.
Yeah, because sometimes it's the same level, but just different enemy placements. Like it's different enemies, even though.
You have to remember the rooms themselves aren't randomly generated. It's the it's the way they're connected that's randomly generated. Is how they work. It's how that works.
Okay.
So, like this room, you'll see this exact room over and over again, but the hallways connecting it will be different every time. Oh, fuck, there's still so. But the rooms connecting it will always be different.
That robot monster that you just took out was essentially the boss that you got killed when
Just
you were
in
playing.
small
But
scale.
in smaller form.
I stopped and looked because that was kind of the spell I wanted for the boss, but unfortunately, the damage on it was pretty terrible. Which, of course, it would be at this stage.
What do we got here? Hammer.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff is just like hammers and the like. Because I've only unlocked hammers and fucking swords.
Yeah, I mean, you flew through that pretty quick. Did you catch the Pokemon news that came out today?
Yeah, there's a new Pokemon game, and it's going to be on the Switch, right?
Yes. Sword and Shield.
I'm worried it's going to be like a Pokemon Go type game, like.
I hope it's more traditional.
Yeah, which I haven't seen anyone bring up because Eevee and Pikachu was Go inspired.
It was like a Pokemon Go, but kind of like the first one, like a reimagining of the first one. Honestly, I stopped giving a shit about Pokemon after basically I played the shit out of Blue. I think it was 149, 150 Pokemon. Like I didn't get a Tauros or something stupid. And then I played a little bit of Silver. And while I was playing Silver, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Like grinding for Pokemon.
Crystal blew my mind because it was when you beat it and you go back to the first game. I thought that was crazy.
Was that? Oh, that was. Oh, yeah, because that was in Golden. Because the Crystal was like the super version of Gold and Silver. Yeah. Was that only in Crystal?
No, in Gold and Silver, when you beat the game, you go back to the first game.
And that was something that the president of Nintendo, Iwata, who recently passed away, he was one of the programmers on that game, and that game had like a bad development cycle. And then he came in and he fixed everything, and then he fit the entire first game into the Game Boy, into Gold and Silver by some miracle of coding. I don't know, like everybody's like, how the hell did he do this? And so he
just like laughed, crossed his arms, and floated.
Yeah, he's like, here it is. So that's one of the, he fixed Earthbound. He did that with Pokemon, which is just, you hear the story, that's pretty crazy.
Well, that was back in the day that I was like, yeah, you're president, you're also a coder.
Yeah, he wasn't president at the time. No, he was still in the development side, but
I mean, like, what was it? Like Miyamoto only became fucking Miyamoto because even he will say like it was because he like basically couldn't fucking code, and they're like, well, he was an art student. And they're like, you have to do something, and he's like, director, and like, there was that like Kojima, but it was like they basically like were making up roles for themselves because they wanted to work in video games, but they couldn't code. So they were like, people would just make up roles for themselves and be like, oh, I'll just be the director.
It's kind of funny. I'm just kind of browsing through some websites quick, just checking out like game news, and like GameStop is promoting like, pre-order the new Pokemon game now, even though it's not going to come out until probably December. And oh yeah, by the way,
we promise we'll still be here then.
Yeah, and by the way, here's we're gonna just call it a Pokemon sale where you can save on used Pokemon game. Like everybody's like, they're tying into the current hype of everybody liking Pokemon because of Pokemon Day.
When is Pokemon Day?
Today, because of the announcement.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
My Nintendo website's got some Pokemon stuff that they just posted, and everybody's riding this hype train pretty hard today. Giving in to marketing.
I mean, we've discussed repeatedly that, like, nothing competes to Nintendo, old Club Nintendo.
It's, yeah, because you got games. Here, you just, like,
well,
here's
not
a
only
wallpaper.
did you get games, but, like, you would get, like, actual,
you could,
like, cool things. Like, I got posters.
Yeah, they give away, like, a figure one year, you know, like, now it's just, here's some bad wallpapers that you probably don't want to.
Well, not only that, but, like, I can remember, like, I had a bunch of extra points one time, and they were, like, and I'm like, I don't know, like, I guess I'll just take some Zelda posters. And it was just like, okay, here's some Zelda posters. And, like, those Zelda posters are worth, like, $100 now.
Yeah, because it was only available through... I had the recreation of the Game & Watch Ball. They made, like, a new version of Ball, like an actual Game & Watch, you know, electronic game that you could get if you spent, like, you know, 1,000,000 points or whatever. And I sold it on Craigslist, like, you know, a few years ago. But yeah, that thing's still worth something now because you could have only gotten it then.
Yeah, there's like a ton of shit like that used to come in from that actually, you know, I thought that was just like, it was like a really cool reward for, you know, I can remember just being really happy about, like, being, you know, enjoying my Nintendo games because it was like,
yeah,
and that was like during the, like, Wii and, like,
Wii and DS, yeah,
it's 3DS, and being like, yeah, you know, these are, I like this because it makes me, like, happy to be Nintendo guy, like, have Nintendo stuff, and it, like, makes me look forward to, like, redeeming this shit. And, like, I can remember when I, like, first found out about it, like, I think you told me about it, and I went back through and, like, registered all of my stuff, and I had, like, 8 billion points.
Yeah, I used to go to GameStop and just open up Wii games on the shelf, and then take a picture of the...
Oh,
people
you were that asshole.
I would, yeah, and I would, well, this dude didn't register it, I'll take advantage of this situation, and then just, you know,
I
get
used
points.
to scream at people for doing that.
Yeah, I did that numerous times.
Yeah, I would definitely yell at people for that. Because, like, yeah, you're not buying that. That's the perk of buying it. Even Nintendo would be pissed at you.
Yep. I got a lot of points that way.
Yeah. But no, now, like, you have to have the... And it's like, we've discussed it, it's, like, really stupid. You have to have the game, and it has to be, like, in the first year of release.
Yep.
There's, like, all these, like, terrible conditions.
And you only, and then you get gold coins, and then sure, they're like, oh, now you can use your gold, like, one... So if you get a game that's 60 gold coins, you can get 60 cents off your next eShop purchase. So each gold coin is, like, 1 penny.
And everyone I've talked to says, yeah, I don't pay tax on something.
Yes, that's it. Exactly. It just knocks off the tax, maybe, depending on the game that you're getting.
Honestly, every single gold coin I've had, like, I always forget I have it until...
They expire.
Well, yeah, and I always forget that I even have gold coins until it literally comes to, like, I'm making an eShop purchase, and I'm just, like, sitting there, and it's like, oh, you have, like, $3 in gold coins. Do you want to add that to this purchase? And I'm like, might as fucking well.
Might as well, because they do go bad. They do expire after... I think gold coins maybe expire after 6 months, is it? I can't remember, but it's...
Yeah, and
it's short. I think it's shorter.
Long.
Yeah, it's not long, so they want you to keep buying stuff. They want you to keep coming back. I don't blame them. Are you going to be able to beat this guy this time?
Yeah, I have the homing shot.
It's a nice attack. I like how he has the stereotypical red barrels on his back, which would indicate, hey, I'm probably susceptible to a nice fire blast. But, yeah, so this is just cosmetic, which is kind of misleading. So now, so now you go to World 2.
Yep. And there's like plot and stuff, but the one thing that I commented in my review that I actually like about this is that you can skip like all of the like plot and crap. That there's actually a mode that just straight up is just, yeah, if you don't care about the plot, you can just play the game.
Yeah, you can just keep it going.
Yeah. This is World 2.
Looks kind of the same.
Well, hold on for it. That was just the end of the stage. And then you get to load. So this is World 2. Slightly different. It's beach themed.
Okay. Still same thing, still kind of corridor based, room based.
Oh yeah, that does not change.
Yeah, it's just new coat of paint.
And yeah, all that happens really is the kind of the change. I know World 3 is World 4 is ice. World 3 is I fucking forget.
Like fire maybe, or
I think it is fire.
Woods. Yeah.
No, it's vegetation. You're in trees. She's like scared of birds or some bullshit. There's some like the random text at the bottom, which I felt I turned off them talking because it if you notice, which you probably haven't, like it's turned off. They repeat shit constantly.
I was gonna make a joke during the loading screen. Now that you mention it, it's like you can turn character voices off in the option screen. Was the loading screen help message?
Stuff
So maybe they knew.
That was one of my complaints in the review. Is it's like, yeah, like some of that stuff is kind of like and witty because it like it adds to her character. Like you find out that like the book is a sentient book, and it talks about stuff. And it's like, you're a pretty good athlete. Did you ever think about like maybe being a professional athlete? Because she's running around fucking like robots.
Yeah.
With like all this stuff, and she's like, no, I honestly haven't. And they'll like have a conversation about that, and like you hear it, and you're like, oh, that's. Like, an interesting conversation that you might have if you're spending time in, like, a parallel world with someone, okay. But then you hear it, like, 3 fucking times. And it's like, oh, come on. And it's just a bunch of shit like that. And then all of a sudden you'll like, so when I was saying about like her being scared of birds, like when you unlock that in the tree stage, congratulations, she's going to talk about being scared of birds that entire time now. It's just something that's added to the repertoire.
Yeah.
Like, congratulations, it's there now. Hope you like it. I think it's only for that one stage, but like a lot of the other stuff, it's like, oh, you made it to stage 2. Now she'll start talking about her brothers sometimes. Oh, you made it to this stage. Now you made it to this area. Now they'll start talking about this. It's...
Is it in Japanese or is it in English? Because I'm not...
Korean, I believe.
Korean?
This game was developed by a Korean development team, so it may be in Japanese, but I would assume it's in Korean.
Okay, so it's not in English, is the...
It is not. The language is not in English, which is nice. That I don't like it when they dub. I wanted to hear those speakers.
Yeah, hardcore fans usually like the Japanese foreign voices anyway.
We do. But like, I have nothing to spend like my upgrade money on.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, I know for a fact that there's, like, other weapons that can be unlocked. And I'm just like, how the fuck am I supposed to unlock these?
There's no way to change your class or something?
There are different, so I've unlocked, like, a different outfit for her, which is a story-related thing, because at one point the book starts talking about, like, a girlfriend or something, like, that he had, and you stop and talk to it for, like, a minute about, like, a girlfriend. And so I'm like, I'm actually wearing that right now, but aside from that, no.
So what do you think? You gave it a 7.5?
7.5.
7.5. Yeah, I mean, I like the action RPG-ness of it. I like, it's colorful. It's It's kind of smooth moving. It's faster paced.
It's not offensive, but it could be better.
Yeah, there seems to be maybe those balancing issues that we talked about, and I mean maybe co-op could be a little bit.
If I could select my spells when I wanted to, it would be like just worlds better. Like if there was just a way, even at the end of the level, that I could just go in and select my spells or lock in spells or anything like that. It would be so much better. But the fact that I just can't, and that I'm just at like the whim of RNG, and it's like spells are so important. They're so important.
You can't. You couldn't beat this just by hacking and slashing. You have to use.
And the spell, and like literally, I just got a better sword. I swapped it out for a better sword, and the better sword I have came with like a garbage spell. It's literally a crowd control spell, and the only time this spell is useful is if you have an overpowered sword for the area. That's the only time this is useful.
You're still getting S ranks on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Did you beat the game after the 4?
I got to what I believe is the final one.
And then you died?
Yeah, it says the information, the review embargo and stuff that we got.
Oh, yeah.
4 areas.
Right.
And we got the very last boss in the 4th area.
So when you died on the 4th, did you have to go all the way? Like, did they give you the option? Hey, do you want to go back to level 1, or
back to the boss of the do you want to go for 1 again?
Yeah.
And do this all again, and I could have had the weapon that I had, and I could have just gone to that boss, or the other option was that I could go restart the game again. And I was like, I'm gonna restart the game again and just keep my permanent upgrades that I have, the magic and everything like that, and lose my weapon, because what I want to do is see if beating the boss unlocks more magic or more weapons or anything like that before I write a review.
Sure.
Because that will impact the review if there's something that I'm missing, that they were just expecting me to go back to the beginning. And no.
Nothing, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, it's a fine game. Where can they find you, sir?
Yeah, so go to mygamer.com. That's where we post everything. You can check out Gillman's full review at the site. We'll post this stream up there shortly after recording here, so it'll be posted by the time, obviously, you're watching this now. And you could follow me on Twitter at ZackGaz, ZackGaz, and then follow us on Twitter at MyGamerNews. And we got a lot of cool stuff. This is the end of February. We posted a bunch of reviews this month, and we got already a bunch of stuff scheduled for March already. So be sure to put us in your favorites, check us out, and thank you for watching. And until next time, game on.